Hello everyone, this is Harry McCray, founder of the Build Your Brand group on Facebook and Alliance Pack Sellers group right here on YouTube. And today I'm going to be bringing you a very exciting video. I want to talk about using your instincts to escape poverty. And for some people who do not know what poverty is when you do not have enough money to pay your bills. I think you might have to look this up statistically. Making under $25,000 a year, something around that range. But if you're amongst those people who are living paycheck to paycheck, which to me, poverty is living paycheck to paycheck, regardless of how much money you make. I've known people who have only made $19,000 a year or $18,000 a year. I know a guy specifically right now that makes $18.50 a year. Or less sometimes, and he's just really smart. I mean, he has a boat, a home, motorcycle, couple of cars, truck. This guy, when you see him, and it's funny too, because he's been making this kind of money for like 40 years. He's an older gentleman. But when you take a look at him, you're probably like, wow, how did you... He almost looks like he's living the Tony Montana life. But the thing is, since he was really young, he has developed a strategy of putting money away. You know, when he got his first job when he was a teenager, he put his money away and he invested his money. And over time, those investments, the compound interest, all that other stuff. So technically, at this point, he's almost retired. He hasn't retired yet, but he makes six figures a year just off the money that he saved from way back when, over 40 years ago, saving all the way up until now, investing. And I think he also owns one rental property with 2 or 3 apartments on it. But he's pretty smart like that. So basically, how do you start simple? Like, this video, the reason why I'm making it, because I've been engaging some people who have been emailing me directly. And a lot of the questions I keep getting over and over again from people is, how do I get started making money or getting myself out of my rut? I hear about all these problems. I mean, a lot of people confide to tell me like their situation. Some people, I mean, at least 90% of the people I come in contact with, I'm so honest with them that they actually tell me the details of the situations that they're going through. And I don't shy away, because I like to listen to what they have to say, and I really genuinely do like helping people out. So I listen to what they have to say, and I try to give them the best advice I can. And for the most part, some of the situations that I see, it all boils down to the same thing. And what is the same thing? Learning how to manage your money a certain way. Now, a lot of experts always say, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, try to find a way to save an extra $1,000. There's this new financial epidemic hitting the internet, telling people to save $1,000 for living. I have a video here on YouTube, and it's very popular. How to save $1,000 living paycheck to paycheck. Why is my video so popular? Because a lot of people don't have $1,000. It's kind of I don't even know what to think about it. Except, although many experts say 1,000, I personally always say 2,000, because to me, that's when I start sweating bullets. All right. Now, one of the things that, and I'm going to cover this in my book, one of the ways that I could think of to generate extra income, because sometimes you can't save the money you have. I understand that. Some people make just enough at their job to pay their bills, and a little bit for entertainment so they don't drive themselves crazy. All right, so check it out. I'm going to tell you, don't stop anything. I'm going to teach you how to develop your mind to which you can get lucky over and over and over again. All right? So, here's some of the things that take place, and some of these things are in plain sight. For example, I am holding some bottle return, and I'm going to be covering this in my book. I'm actually writing a book specifically on this topic. But bottle returns. Took back 2 bags from my bin, and I basically dug in the trash. I'm not even kidding you. I will dig in the trash sometimes. If there's like a water bottle sitting right there. I don't know why I do it. I don't really need to, but it's just a habit. And I'm trying to stop it because it gets weird and creepy. And I could be out with my friends and they're looking at me like, why are you picking in the garbage? And I don't know why. Don't ask me. It's just something I do. From time to time, but I'm trying to kick that habit. It's not as bad as a habit if it's actually making me money. I've said in previous videos that doing bottle returns, I can sometimes, and I'm trying to slow down actually, make myself an extra $200 a month just with that. Sometimes as low as $100, but when you think about it, $200, and you're digging in trash and you're getting above poverty, like who cares? So there's about $13 and change. These are just from like one day of work with bottle returns. So, and I have change in here that I found in the trash. I'm going to be pausing that. I meant not in the trash, on the floor. So what am I talking about getting lucky? Basically, because of some of these smaller habits that I have, and most people who see me out and about, I don't really get flashy and fly anymore, like with all the, clothes and Jordans and stuff, because it's kind of a waste of money at this point. I'm really just trying to get to like a different level of living, and maybe at some point I'll get back to that flashy stuff the way it used to be when I was in my 20s, like lower 20s. I'm talking like when I was 21, 22. I used to be a sneaker king and into all this other crap, but I'm not like that anymore. So basically, during my bottle return adventures, a lot of things have taken place. I've found, by looking down in the parking lot at some of the places where I go and take the bottles, I've found change on the floor. I always actually find change on the floor, and I pick it up. I found money, cash. I found, in some cases, pretty good amount. Sometimes I'll find a 5, sometimes I'll find 1s, sometimes I'll find a series of change in quarters that go all the way up to like being like $4. And of course I got a separate bank account for my bottle returns, so these things come in handy. One day I found 2 20s and a 5 in between, so that's $45. And some people look at me and they're like, why do you get so lucky with these things? Or people like me, and they say, why do you get so lucky? And it's not even really that we're lucky, it's just that we've turned into scavengers. We've hit a new level of living, which is basically, we're kind of like a different breed of human beings. Now we're acting like animals. In a good way, because we're dealing with the first law of nature, which is self-preservation. And in a capitalistic society, self-preservation means capital. So what kind of capital are we talking? The kind of capital that keeps you getting out of trouble. A lot of people bump into problems in America and in society, and most of those problems are predicated on not having any capital. All right? For instance, you get pulled over, you get a speeding ticket or something happens, you get a traffic violation, or you're driving your nice car and you're already making payments on it. Something goes wrong with the engine and you can't afford to pay for it. You get into an auto accident, you can't afford any. There's a lot of situations where capital becomes a problem for many people. So using your instincts to get yourself out of poverty, the most important one is basically managing money, learning how to manage your assets, learning how to divide money into different places. Learn that there's, for example, I've said this in the past, a deposit-only bank account. Try to find a way to get a bank account where you only deposit money. You do not withdraw any money from this account under any circumstances. I don't care what the situation is, unless it's a dire emergency. And emergency doesn't boil down to you need a new pair of sneakers. An emergency is kind of like your house got flooded or something bad went down and you need to, money needs to take care of something right away. So I would do that. If it was me, I would do that. But I would take care of those situations when there's a real emergency. But when you're a scavenger, you get more luck. I mean, a lot of people have luck. They just don't realize because they don't look for certain things. And they always keep themselves from, prospering because they overlook the small things. And most people overlook anything of small value. It's just human nature when we think we've exceeded certain things. And there's a lot of cliches that live in our brains. Like some people, they actually view, their perspective is based on materialism, So materials mean success. Like you've gotten yourself a really nice car and you got really nice clothes. You got Steve Madden shoes or whatever, Manolo or Louis Vuitton bag or Michael Kors, whatever. And now you're looking like fresh to death from head to toe. You got a car that you're making payments on and you're just living the life. You're flashy. And instead of having a net worth, you have debt worth and you don't even know it. Because a lot of people don't even know that technically, in order to have a net worth, you have to have a business. Because working a job doesn't mean you have a net worth. If you're making $50,000 a year at a job, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have net worth. But if you have a job, if you have a business that makes $200 to $300 a month, right? You multiply that times 12, so you know your annual net worth. Some people's net worth can be, when you got a small business, as small as $12,000 a year. Some people could be worth $25K a year. Some people could be worth $100K a year. But debt worth is kind of like when you accumulate debt because you got good credit and you run out there and you want to have the nicest car on the block with the nicest mortgaged home on the block with all the nicest credit card debt on the block. That means that you got Michael Kors and all the other fly stuff that you think you can wear, as many Movado watches. Well, that's looking fresh while being in poverty, because here's the bottom line. If you don't have any cash reserves, you're broke. I don't care how fresh you look. I know a lot of people who look fresh from head to toe. Jordans, throwback hats, everything. And they got chains, gold, watches, everything. They look so beautiful. Mercedes-Benz, BMWs, Range Rovers, the whole 9 yards, Hummers, whatever. A decked out house. Every weekend they're buying a bottle of Moet on their credit card. I mean, this looks really nice, but then when you look and you're like, oh, I got $80,000 in debt. How much are you bringing in per year? About $35K, about $50K. Oh, me and my girlfriend, me and my wife, we make about $55,000 a year. Well, that, because you're not going to be able to pay that debt off, the interest is going to start piling up. And you're going to become a slave to that. So basically, my message is very clear. Learn how to manage your money. That's the best way to get out of poverty, because some people are poor but don't look it. They look wealthy as freak. I was going to say something else, but I didn't want to use profanity in this message. But they look really wealthy, and they're not. They're actually like worse off than a bum on the street who's got $5 in his pocket, because at least he doesn't have negative 80 grand. You could look as fly as you want. I've seen many people look flashy, belts, all that other stuff. But when it comes down to having money, they're broke. And any little tiny little thing, you break your leg, you can't work anymore, now you're in debt. So you're in trouble. Anyway, subscribe to my video. I'm going to have, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to have a lot more videos on this topic. I hope I covered everybody's questions. Money management is the #1 thing. You could generate extra income, but if you don't manage it properly, you're never going to get anywhere. So just learn how to develop, deposit only. Make a rule. Say for the next 2 years, you're going to create a stream of income where you're only going to put it in a bank. You're never going to touch it for 2 years. After 2 years go, if you want to buy yourself something nice or treat yourself for what you did, just don't spend all of it. Do that, but by then you'll be so used to saving money, you probably won't even do it. So anyway, have a good day, y'all. I hope that I answered some of you guys' questions, and enjoy. And catch me on the next video. All right? Bye.